Imagine this: a hospital that's been locked up for decades, its doors sealed tight. But some say the ghostly surgeons never left. Late at night, whispers of their work still echo through the halls. What happens when the dead refuse to rest, continuing their eerie practices long after their time? This is the chilling mystery we're about to uncover. The operating room, sealed and abandoned for years, holds secrets no one can fully explain. Whispers echo from the walls, and daring explorers who've entered claim to hear the sound of surgical tools clinking and ghostly footsteps. But what's truly happening inside this forgotten place? Once a bustling hospital, it was shut down after a series of unexplained events and chilling reports of ghost sightings. Now, it stands as a silent witness to a dark history that refuses to be forgotten. Something terrifying still lingers in the shadows, waiting to be discovered. What exactly happened in this operating room that forced it to be locked away from the world? Why do people still hear the sound of footsteps echoing down empty hallways? Surgical instruments clinking as if someone is still performing procedures, and faint whispers of surgeons calling orders, despite the fact that the hospital has been abandoned for decades? The truth is, the hospital was shut down under mysterious circumstances, leaving behind unanswered questions and a legacy of fear. But the strange occurrences continue. Some say the place is cursed. Others claim it's haunted by the souls of those who once worked here. Dare you step inside and face whatever is still trapped in the shadows? Or is it too dangerous to uncover the truth? This hospital was built in the early 1900s, originally designed to serve as a state-of-the-art medical facility for the rapidly growing city. It quickly became renowned for its advanced surgeries and groundbreaking medical practices, attracting some of the best doctors in the field. The operating rooms were cutting-edge for their time, and many people came from far and wide to receive treatment here. However, behind its prestigious reputation, there were whispers of unethical practices. Some claim that certain surgeries were performed without consent, and that the hospital staff was involved in questionable experiments in the name of medical advancement. Over the years, the hospital's dark past started to surface, with rumors of mistreatment and negligence spreading among patients. Despite its early fame, the building's reputation began to sour, culminating in a series of strange and unexplained events that led to its eventual closure. The exact reasons for its abandonment remain unclear, but many believe it's tied to the sinister secrets buried within its walls. Over the years, numerous brave explorers have ventured into the abandoned hospital, hoping to uncover the truth behind its haunting reputation. Many of them have reported chilling encounters that defy explanation. One explorer recounted how, while inside the sealed operating room, his camera equipment suddenly malfunctioned. Despite being fully charged, his devices refused to work, and the only sound was the soft clink of metal on metal, as though surgical tools were being handled by unseen hands. Another adventurer reported hearing footsteps echoing through the dark, empty hallways, but when he turned the corner, no one was there. Perhaps the most disturbing account came from a group who spotted an unexplained figure through the foggy glass of the operating room. The figure, dressed in what appeared to be old-fashioned surgical attire, moved slowly and deliberately, as if performing a procedure. When the group tried to enter, the door was locked, though they were sure it had been opened moments before. It wasn't just the apparitions that disturbed them, but the overwhelming sense of being watched, as though the spirits of the surgeons and patients never left, trapped in the very place where their lives had been altered forever. The moment you step inside the abandoned hospital, the atmosphere hits you like a wave. The air is thick with the smell of decay, stale, musty, and heavy with the scent of old wood and rusted metal. It's the kind of odor that lingers in your throat, making every breath feel heavier than the last. The coldness in the air is almost unnatural, seeping into your bones, as if the building itself is holding on to its dark past, unwilling to let go. Every step you take echoes loudly in the silence, your shoes tapping on the cracked tiles, while the distant hum of forgotten machinery can still be heard in the background. It's an unsettling quiet, broken only by the occasional cough of dust in the air or the sharp, eerie clink of a scalpel, as though someone is still carrying out a procedure. Despite the hospital's long abandonment, the creak of a door hinges or the soft shuffle of footsteps behind you seem amplified in the stillness, making your heart race. But when you turn, there's nothing, just the vast emptiness stretching on, filled with secrets that no one wants to reveal. It's a place that feels alive, yet entirely dead. One of the most puzzling phenomena comes from a lone investigator who decided to spend the night inside the sealed operating room. After hours of silence, he noticed something chilling. A surgical scalpel, which had been carefully placed on the counter earlier in the evening, was now positioned exactly the same way it had been the day before, despite no one having entered the room in between. The investigator checked his footage. No one had entered, no one had moved it. It was as though the scalpel was put back into place by an invisible hand. Then there's the story of the flickering lights. The hospital's power was long disconnected, and the building had no working electricity, yet multiple explorers have reported lights suddenly flickering on in certain rooms. One of them described walking through a dark hallway, when, without warning, the dim glow of an overhead light flickered to life, casting eerie shadows across the walls. It stayed on for only a few seconds, then died out again, leaving behind only the oppressive darkness. How could this happen in a place with no power source? Was someone, still trying to light the way? Or was this another sign of the restless spirits that remained trapped within these walls? It wasn't until one investigator, determined to get to the heart of the mystery, made it inside the sealed operating room that the story took a chilling turn. He had heard all the stories, seen the footage of the unexplained phenomena, but nothing could have prepared him for what he was about to discover. As he cautiously stepped into the room, the air grew colder, so cold, in fact, that his breath became visible in the dim light of his flashlight. The room, once empty and abandoned, seemed almost alive. Suddenly, the investigator's eyes caught a glimpse of movement in the corner. At first, he thought it was a trick of the light, but then it became unmistakable. There, in the far corner of the room, stood a ghostly figure in a surgeon's coat, its features shrouded in shadow. The figure didn't acknowledge him, but seemed to be concentrating on an operating table, where medical tools were neatly arranged as if waiting for the next patient. The room was silent, except for the faint sound of something, perhaps a scalpel, scraping against the metal tray. Frozen in place, the investigator's heart raced. Then his flashlight flickered, and in that brief moment of darkness, the figure vanished. When the light returned, everything was as it had been before. Empty, still, and silent. But there was one thing that wasn't the same. On the operating table there was a journal, an old weathered notebook with pages filled with strange, unsettling accounts of surgeries performed under mysterious circumstances. The entries detailed operations that never seemed to end, with the names of patients crossed out, and horrifying notes about experiments that pushed the boundaries of life and death. The investigator realized with growing dread that this was no ordinary ghost story. It was a glimpse into something far darker. The atmosphere in the room grew heavy, as if the very walls were closing in. His pulse quickened, and just as he was about to take a closer look at the journal, he heard it, the unmistakable sound of footsteps behind him. He spun around, but no one was there. The ghostly presence of the surgeons seemed to be all around him, their work continuing, uninvited, as if the past refused to let go. So, were these ghostly surgeons truly trapped in time, continuing their work long after death? Or is it all just a dark myth, born from the hospital's troubled past and fueled by the mysterious events that led to its abandonment? The chilling encounters, the unexplained phenomena, and the eerie sightings of surgical apparitions certainly suggest there's something far more sinister at play. But with so many questions left unanswered, it's hard to know for sure. One thing is certain: the hospital's haunted past is far from over. What if there are still hidden areas yet to be explored, places untouched by time that hold even darker secrets? Could there be more ghostly surgeons roaming its halls, or are there deeper, more terrifying mysteries waiting to be uncovered? The shadows of this forgotten hospital still linger, and the search for the truth may only be beginning. If you're shocked by what we uncovered today, just wait until you see the horrifying secrets lurking in the hospital's lower levels. Make sure you're subscribed and don't miss what we explore next.